Your network is dead. After 15 years at the same company, that's the harsh reality. You've climbed the ladder, you're respected, you know everyone, inside those four walls, but outside, you're a ghost. Imagine this. You've spent a decade and a half building a career. You're comfortable. You're the go-to person for everything. Your internal network is a well-oiled machine. You know who to call in finance to get an invoice pushed through. You know the right person in IT to fix your laptop without a ticket. You're a king in your own kingdom. Then one day, the kingdom crumbles. A layoff, a restructuring, or maybe you just wake up and realize you're stuck, you're bored, you need a change. So you decide to look outside. You polish your resume, you start browsing job sites, and then you hit a wall. A big, invisible wall. You try to network. What does that even mean anymore? You scroll through LinkedIn, sending connection requests to strangers with generic messages. Hi, I'd love to connect. Crickets. You go to an industry event, and it feels like the first day of high school all over again. Everyone seems to know each other, huddled in their little groups, laughing at inside jokes. You're standing there, awkwardly holding a drink, feeling completely out of place. It's not just awkward, it feels impossible. Why? After being so connected, so influential within your company for so long, why does networking in the real world feel like trying to learn a foreign language overnight? It's because the skills that made you successful inside your company are completely different from the skills you need to build a network outside of it. You've been playing checkers for 15 years, and suddenly the world wants you to play 3D chess. Inside your company, your network was built on a foundation of shared context. You worked on the same projects, you reported to the same bosses, you complained about the same broken coffee machine in the break room. Your value was clear because everyone knew your track record. You didn't have to introduce yourself, your reputation preceded you. Your network was, in a way, handed to you. It grew organically, passively, as a byproduct of just doing your job. But outside? None of that matters. No one knows about that massive project you saved last year. No one cares that you were the mentor to half the junior staff. Out here, you're a blank slate. Your shared context is gone. Your passive network building muscle has atrophied from years of disuse. You've become what I call an internal celebrity. Famous in your own little world, but a complete unknown everywhere else. And this is a dangerous place to be in today's job market. Loyalty to a company is a one-way street. You can give them 15, 20, even 30 years of your life, and it can all disappear with a single email on a Tuesday morning. So how did we get here? It's a slow, subtle process. You don't wake up one day with a dead external network. It dies a slow death by 1,000 tiny cuts. Think back. When you first started, you probably kept in touch with old college friends, maybe a few colleagues from your first job. But as you got deeper into your current role, your days got busier, the projects got bigger, the responsibilities piled up. You started saying no to after-work drinks. You missed that reunion. You stopped replying to those LinkedIn messages from recruiters because you were happy, you were secure. Your company became your entire professional universe. The colleagues you saw every day became your main professional contacts. The boundaries between your personal and professional life might have even blurred. These work friends became your real friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, your network became an echo chamber. Everyone you knew professionally thought the same way, faced the same company-specific challenges, and spoke the same corporate jargon. You lost perspective. You stopped hearing about new trends, new technologies, different ways of working that were happening in other companies, in other industries. Your professional growth, while seemingly vertical within the company, was actually stagnating from an external perspective. It's like being a farmer who has only ever worked on one single plot of land. You know every inch of that soil. You know exactly when to plant, when to water, what pests to look out for. You are a master of that one plot. But if a drought comes and that land becomes barren, you're lost. You don't know how to find new fertile ground. You don't know what crops grow well in different climates. Your specialized knowledge has become a cage. That's the trap of long-term employment. It provides a sense of security that is, frankly, an illusion. The real security in your career doesn't come from your employer. It comes from your network. A strong, diverse, external network is your safety net. It's your market intelligence. It's your pipeline to new opportunities, new ideas, and new perspectives. When you're inside the bubble for 15 years, you forget how to introduce yourself. You forget how to articulate your value to someone who has zero context about your company's internal structure or projects. You're used to people already knowing your worth. Now you have to sell it from scratch. And that feels intimidating. It feels desperate almost, like you're asking for a favor. This feeling is the single biggest barrier. It's a psychological hurdle. After years of being the expert, the one people come to for help, it's incredibly difficult to switch roles and become the one asking for help, for a connection, for a bit of someone's time. Your ego takes a hit. Let me tell you about a guy I knew. Let's call him David. David was a VP at a major tech firm. He'd been there for 18 years. He was a legend. He built an entire division from the ground up. He had the corner office, the big salary, the respect of everyone from the CEO to the interns. Then a merger happened. His role became redundant, just like that. 18 years of loyalty, gone. David was confident at first. He had a golden resume. He thought recruiters would be banging down his door. Weeks turned into months. He sent out hundreds of applications. He got a few interviews, but nothing stuck. The feedback was always vague. We went with a candidate with more relevant experience. Relevant? He practically invented the field. The problem wasn't his experience. The problem was his network, or the lack of one. All his contacts were inside his old company, and many of them were in the same boat as him. The people he was trying to connect with on the outside didn't know him. His resume was just a piece of paper. There was no story, no human connection behind it. He told me the hardest part was going to networking events. He felt like an old man in a young person's game. Everyone was talking about startups and apps he'd never heard of. He felt invisible. His confidence, once his greatest asset, was completely shattered. David's story isn't unique. I've seen it happen dozens, if not hundreds of times. The mid-career professional, brilliant and accomplished, suddenly finds themselves adrift in a professional world they no longer recognize. So the network is dead. What now? Do you just accept your fate? Give up and hope for the best? Absolutely not. It's never too late to resurrect your network. It's not impossible. It just requires a different strategy. You can't use the same approach you would if you were 22 and fresh out of college. The first step is a mindset shift. You must stop thinking of networking as a desperate transactional activity you only do when you need a job. That's like trying to get in shape the day before a marathon. It's too late. Networking is not about collecting contacts. It's about building relationships. And relationships are built on giving, not taking. After 15 years in one place, you have an incredible amount of value to give. You have wisdom, experience, and a deep understanding of your industry that younger professionals are craving. You have to reframe your approach. You're not asking for a favor. You're offering your expertise. You're looking for a mutually beneficial exchange of ideas. Let's break down the practical steps. Where do you even begin? First, start with who you already know. The dormant ties. These are the people you've lost touch with over the years. Old colleagues from previous jobs, college classmates, even people you met briefly at a conference 5 years ago. Your memory might be hazy, but LinkedIn is your best friend here. Go through your old emails, your old contacts, find these people. Don't just send a generic "let's connect" message. That's lazy. Send a personalized note. Hey Sarah, long time no see. I was just thinking about that crazy Project X we worked on back at Acme Corp. Hope you're doing well. Saw on your profile you're at Innovate Inc. now. That's awesome. I'd love to catch up sometime and hear what you're working on. The key here is warmth, personalization, and zero pressure. You're not asking for a job, you're rekindling a connection, you're just being a human. You'll be amazed at how many people are happy to hear from an old acquaintance. These dormant ties are your warmest cold contacts. They already have a positive association with you, you just need to reactivate it. Second, you need to become a giver. Your default mode should be, how can I help, instead of, what can you do for me? When you meet someone, either online or in person, listen more than you talk. Ask them about their challenges, their goals. With your 15 plus years of experience, there's a good chance you can offer a piece of advice, a useful perspective, or even connect them with someone else you know. Imagine you meet a junior marketing manager at an event. Instead of pitching yourself, you ask them what they're working on. They mention they're struggling with a new analytics platform. You happen to oversee the implementation of a similar platform a few years ago. You can share a couple of pitfalls to avoid. Boom, you've just provided immense value. You've positioned yourself as a helpful expert, not a desperate job seeker. That person will remember you. They'll be far more likely to help you down the road if you ever need it. Being a giver builds social capital. It's the currency of networking. Third, you need to get visible, but strategically. Attending massive, generic networking events is often a waste of time. It's like shouting into a hurricane. Instead, focus on smaller, more targeted gatherings. Look for industry-specific meetups, specialized workshops, or small group masterminds. The goal is quality over quantity. It's better to have 5 meaningful conversations than to hand out 50 business cards to people who will forget you by the time they get to their car. Another way to get visible is through content. You have 15 years of knowledge locked in your head. Let some of it out. Write articles on LinkedIn about trends you're seeing in your industry. Comment thoughtfully on other people's posts. Don't just say, "Great post." Add to the conversation. Great post, John. This reminds me of a similar challenge we faced in 2018 when we were migrating our data centers. One thing we learned was the importance of, this does 2 things. It demonstrates your expertise to a wide audience without you having to sell yourself. And it draws people to you. People will start seeing you as a thought leader and authority. They'll start reaching out to you. You're flipping the script, making the network come to you. This process is a marathon, not a sprint. It took 15 years for your external network to die. It's not going to be reborn in a week. You need to be patient and consistent. Dedicate a few hours every week to these activities. Make it a habit, just like going to the gym. Let's call this your networking workout. Maybe on Monday, you spend 30 minutes finding and reconnecting with 3 dormant ties. On Wednesday, you spend an hour writing a thoughtful LinkedIn post or a few insightful comments. On Friday, you have a virtual coffee chat with one of the new connections you've made. Small, consistent efforts compound over time. It's like investing. A little bit each month grows into a fortune over the years. A few meaningful connections each month will grow into a powerful, supportive network over time. You also have to get comfortable with being a beginner again. It's humbling. You're used to being the expert. Now, you're learning a new skill. Embrace it. Be curious. Ask dumb questions. People are generally happy to help someone who is genuinely trying to learn. Your humility can actually be a very endearing trait. Remember, your experience is your superpower. You're not a 22-year-old trying to figure things out. You have a deep well of stories, failures, and successes to draw from. Use them. Storytelling is the most powerful networking tool there is. Facts and figures are forgotten. Your network is not dead. It's just dormant. It's an old garden that has been neglected. The soil is still fertile, but it's covered in weeds. You need to pull the weeds, till the soil, plant new seeds, and water them consistently.